And so, kind of just understanding what that's like and kind of what the connectedness of the internet in China and how, from outside, seeing that, Instagram and Facebook and some of these platforms are blocked. But then once you're in China, kind of understanding how connected everyone really is with smartphones, with computers, with gaming, with forums, it's something that is a very developed market. And because, the country is so huge, there's a market for everything, right? So no matter what the game is, and looking at some of the viewership hours, I mean, it just blows everything out of the water. I remember looking at some of the numbers from TI8, which is in Vancouver. Is not an optimal time for Chinese people to be watching live streams, but it was something like 419 million hours streamed over 10 days. So the consumption and the demand for this type of gaming and content is just huge. But there's a particular taste, there is also, different, everybody kind of knows what happened in 2018 with the government kind of hitting the pause button on any gaming development, trying to decide, is esports something that's damaging the youth, people spending too much time on this, and then kind of coming out and saying, okay, well, we recognize that, that this is a legitimate profession and kind of opening back up to gaming development. China is the largest gaming market in the world for casual games as well, with smartphones and something like that. A lot of these games have 95% market penetration rate because, you've got everybody's playing some game on their phone. Even your grandma's playing mahjong or something on her phone. And so I think, again, talking of the difference between esports and gaming as kind of two separate markets is definitely something to kind of divide. But, China in general, it, like I said, it is just a huge market for whatever games that are allowed to kind of legally be presented there. So something like Rocket League, which is just recently approved, we expect to kind of see, of course, over time it's going to grow and become something that's much more ubiquitous across that market. But the games that have been there for a while, they just have a massive following. And something I was really surprised by, kind of spending time in Shanghai around TI9 last summer, was the age group of the fans at these Dota 2 tournaments. You're seeing people in their mid-30s, early 40s that are fanboys and fangirls, and also seeing that split too of, traditionally esports is seen as a young man's world, and in China, I've seen the female participation kind of spiking has been something that's been really interesting, and then also seeing that that there were a lot of female fans at the TI9, which again was staggering to walk in. It was my first real live esports experience, and to walk into Mercedes-Benz Arena and see 25,000 people who had paid, $100 to $250 per seat to watch this, to watch these kids play Dota was just mind blowing. So, I think, for us, it's been an interesting exploration of kind of seeing which games are popular in the West and which games are popular in China and where there's a market, right? So something like League of Legends, where the Chinese and the Korean teams kind of tend to dominate, is more difficult for a Western team to get traction. But something like Dota, where there is just a more competitive worldwide market, or something like Overwatch, where they have market penetration in China, but the Chinese teams aren't dominating. I don't know. I guess it's hard for me to kind of understand because I'm so close to it. But the perception of what Chinese fans would like and only support Chinese teams, I think you're seeing this with the NBA and also with some of these teams, sports like Dota, with Team OG winning for a couple of years. China loves a winner, just like everybody. So yeah, they want to support their own teams, but they also want to support the best. So I think that there's a huge kind of opportunity for a lot of gaming organizations, esports organizations to kind of start building a presence in China, and for whatever is going to happen in the next couple of years. This market is just I forget, I was talking to one executive last week, and he said, if your organization's doesn't have a plan for China, I don't know what you're doing.
Right.